How security can be done by people with disabilities? Well, let me tell you that when conflicts are happening or when a sudden thing happens, all the people with disabilities who are in these situations, in these regions, in these organizations, we don't disappear. And I say we because I am blind. And I was working with the United Nations organizations and mandates and programs for 5 years. Now I'm 32. Back in the end of 2019, I met an incredible person. She is from Syria. She is a wheelchair user. Probably you saw her attending a lot of shows, including the HBO one. Sorry, I'm very bad with names, so I'm trying to keep the names as vague as possible, just because I don't want to offend anyone. So in HBO they have a host show by a very popular English guy, and she was guest there. A couple of months later, we met because we were working with UNICEF on something which luckily happened, and since then I was mesmerized by her will, by her powerfulness, and by the sheer fact that not a lot of security personnel, including law enforcement, including military people, are not thinking of people with disabilities in crisis. And it happens nearly often in city councils, in regional organizations, in the European Union, across the world, to to be discussions of budgets for urgent situations. Let's put it as vague as possible. And lots of times, very basic things which can be done for us and with us by asking us what we need in urgent situations, people just choose not to do that. People in city councils, different mayors, different NGOs, powerful NGOs, which are powerful enough to work with local or national administrations, or not. I'm not even talking about law enforcement and military personnel. They are out of that completely. And then Russia attacked actively Ukraine. I'm considering the war to be started back in 2014 when Crimea was occupied. But back then I was just observing. And when in 2022 Russia struck, I started working with people with disabilities from Ukraine. And I was not just curious, and I was not just reading papers and stuff like this, which are related with us people with disabilities and urgent situations. I was directly working with other people who are blind or with low vision who were in Ukraine. And what Ukraine is doing is mesmerizing. First, they are really empowering people with disabilities to to do what they do. Like, for instance, the people that I worked with were journalists, and they were encouraged to talk about the stories of other people with disabilities and how they are doing in Ukraine. And they weren't, pushed away from Ukraine. Oh, go away because here it's not safe. No, they stayed there and they started talking and pushing out stories with other people with other kinds of disabilities and how they are moving forward, which is incredible. And it was incredibly powerful to hear these people just sharing that they want to do their job of actually spreading out the word that there are people with disabilities in Ukraine who are trying to get along and be safe and stuff like this. And one of the journalists is a female journalist, and and she was from Bucha, the little city which is very close to Kiev, and which was massacred by the Russian forces. And she managed to tell the stories of people from that region too. In the hot phase, in the very hottest first months of the war, and she she was there and she was doing her job. And I admire the Ukrainian organization of handling people with disabilities, that they are doing this, because this is exactly what needs to be done in urgent situations. Because in urgent situations, and I speak as a PhD in psychology, as a person who is training in urgent psychology, in psychological triage, is the more official name of it, and as an organizational psychologist. Part of the things which I have true experience with is actually organizational psychology. And when you have an urgent situation, you are aiming at the powerful sides of the people. While naturally, in military doctrines, in law enforcement doctrines, and stuff like this, people with disabilities are falling under people who need to be cared for, people who need to be taken care of, people who need to be passive. While in the COVID crisis, when I was working with UNICEF actively and with several other mandates, I was actively supporting medical personnel across the world. I'm a trained psychologist, and I can do that from any point of the world for any kind of situation if I have the training and I have the knowledge of how this place or how this sector works. And modern militarily and modern law enforcement need to know this, because obviously Ukraine armed and law enforcement forces know this. I don't know how they learned it. I don't know what the mechanics behind all of that was, but it happened, and it's happening. And people who want to be journalists, they are journalists. People who want to be psychologists, they are enforced to be psychologists and to give support to active people who can be active in other terms, medical personnel, military personnel, and stuff like this. Later in the war, I had the incredible chance of working with active military personnel in Ukraine. And this is an immense feeling. And I'm quite thankful that I have this opportunity and I had this opportunity. But what I want to say is that currently the European Union launched a brand new program named Agile. And this program aims at fast and rapid implementations of means of conflicts. They want to connect military organizations across the continent and the private sector. They want rapid evolvement, rapid testing, and rapid implementation. Why I do this video is that I'm quite interested at working with Agile, and I'm interested at actually creating service which aims at tracking people with disabilities and their capabilities and how they can be military or medical or law enforcement reserve deep in the not so active zone, deep in in the helping hands of the bigger organization, which needs to be done and needs to be multi-layered across the European Union so that we can be powerful and organic and robust in any type of conflict or adverse event. So I'm encouraging you to look at the link which I'm going to attach. I'm encouraging you to contact me via my Instagram, which I'm going to attach to the pinned comment. And I'm encouraging you yourself to think of how you can empower people and how you can think of people with actual disabilities who remain with actual disabilities at any moment. You know, you might have pillows to sell. How you are selling them to people with disabilities? Because let me tell you that your regular marketing doesn't help us a lot. Your regular workflow doesn't help us a lot. You need to think of how we can even consider your brand. The same is if you are in any kind of law enforcement or military service. We are still people with disabilities and people with skill, even in a conflict zone, even when we need to be protected according to the old rules. But please consider the Ukrainian way of doing things and consider how we can empower you and how we can service you and how we can be of mutual help, because you already poured money into educating us, into making us a part of our society. And when you have entrepreneurial ideas around the defense of the European Union, it's pointless to exclude us because you are excluding more than 15% of the entire population of the European Union. We are psychologists, we are social workers, we are IT people, we are sometimes medical stuff because there can be any types of disabilities. And you have to think of how we can be of help for you and not how to evacuate us only. So consider agile, consider pitching security being done by people with disabilities, because security is another implementation of accessibility. Because yes, right now we are implementing the Digital Services Act, the European Accessibility Act, and this concerns, administrations and e-commerce. But security is here to stay. I think so. How do you think?